shaping up to be a cold winter's night, I tell ya. Yeah, my dad always had a saying. It was, you better keep the old brass monkeys in tonight, boy. Not really sure what the brass monkeys were in this oh, my balls! That's what they were. Okay, Dad, well, 20 years later, and I finally got that. Okay, well, we're gonna need some warmth to get through this. Some good old-fashioned apple juice. There's nothing in here. I was gonna go out and buy a bottle of tequila. Why did I choose to do this video? I can't even say the name of the damn island. Tequila. All right, look, hey, don't make fun, okay? Everybody has at least a handful of words that you have a really hard time pronouncing, okay? When I was in elementary school, it was like cinnamon. Like, a lot of people couldn't say cinnamon. I could say cinnamon just fine, but tequila was always a hard one for me. I just gotta remember to stress that middle, that key in the middle. I usually end up saying tequila, but whatever. Okay, anyway, today's video is about a giant bridge in the middle of the East Blue. Where is the bridge from? We don't know. Where is the bridge, heading to? We don't know. And it's not even really technically an island, but you don't have to be part of an island to be part of Geography is Everything! Yeah, my body is ready after that. Is your body ready, Robin? That was a very awkward question, so I'm just gonna move on. Okay, Tequila Wolf. This is an interesting one because this goes back to the East Blue, a place that we haven't been for quite some time, and honestly a place, I mean, if you were gonna pick any one of the four blues in the One Piece world that, we, the fandom, thought we had a pretty good handle on, the climate and then the islands on it, it would have been the East, because an entire saga took place there before we headed to the Grand Line. But then when the Straw Hats got separated by Kuma and they got flung to and fro, Robin got sent to an island in the East, but it was unlike every other island we've seen in the East. Up until this point, the East Blue, rather temperate, even somewhat tropical climates. When you get to, like, Arlong Park, you see, like, palm trees and everything. It's rather nice. You have other islands, like the Gecko Islands, where Usopp grew up, not really tropical, but still pretty warm out anyway. And keep in mind, the four blues are not, subject to change from crazy weather patterns. That's only in the Grand Line. That's only in Paradise in the New World, where, like, every single island has its different weather system. Like a winter, summer, spring, or autumn islands, the magnetic charges and everything. For the rest of the world, it works exactly the way it does in our world. You got a north and a south pole, magnetic charges, and you take out a compass and you can navigate, and, you go, I guess, closer to the equator, it's going to get warmer. You get headed closer to the North Pole or South Pole, it's going to get colder, and that's just how it works. So, we can assume that Tequila Wolf is located in the northern section of the East. Might even be really close to where, like, the red line cuts off the boundary between the North Blue and the East Blue. There's, like, right at the top there, that's probably where Tequila Wolf was located. Certainly not a place that Luffy or Usopp or Nami or Zoro, well, maybe Zoro. Zoro might have ended up there at some point. Zoro heads out from the dojo and he's like, I'm just gonna go out into the world and start fighting against, random people that want to fight with me, and eventually I'll run into Mihawk. I guess that was his original plan, right? So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go and fight people now and hopefully run into Mihawk someday. And so he leaves the dojo, and yeah, he probably would have ended up at Tequila Wolf at some point, just like, oh, this is a bridge. It's cold here. Screw that. I'm out of here. But yeah, okay, so Tequila Wolf, like I said, not really an island. It starts at an island, and its eventual endpoint was supposed to be another island, but the actual country itself is just a massive bridge. And you might be a little confused by that. Like, how do you fit an island on, like, how do you fit, like, an entire population on a bridge? It's like, well, this is a really long bridge. How long is the bridge? Really long. Yeah, but in, like, kilometers, how long is it? Oh, really long. Okay, fine. Okay, whatever, not kilometers. Miles, you American. No, really long. I was like, well, damn it, give us something. I don't know. I don't know how long it is, okay? It's 700 years long. Pick however, like, how many miles somebody can make in a freaking year and then times that by 700, and that's what you get. I don't freaking know what to tell you, okay? So here's the basic gist of this. 700 years ago, at some point, a world noble, I guess, arrived at the East, decreed that he wanted this, bridge built between these two islands, and, the world noble is obviously long dead at this point. He's gone, but his word was absolute. That's how it works in the One Piece world. It doesn't matter how ridiculous the request is, or even how feasible the request is, or even, like, what the merits of the request is. It's not like, all right, Mr. World Noble, you want us to build a giant bridge. All right, so you know, what benefits will this provide the world if this bridge is built? I go, I don't freaking know, just build the bridge, I told you to. That's all it requires, right? So you can see a little bit of the faulty system in the One Piece government. You know how you have a group of people that can literally just decree something to happen, and it will happen. No matter how much money or slave labor has to be wasted on it, it'll get done, right? Now, I like to think that the reason for why because people have long since forgotten. I'm sure even the world nobles have forgotten. They might not even remember the bridges being built. That's the really messed up thing. You know, it's like, let's say the world noble was a member of the Don Quixote family 700 years ago. Do you think the Don Quixote family now, 700 years later, gives a freaking flying crap about the construction of that bridge? They probably don't even know it's happening. Yeah, can you imagine? Because they never finished the construction. Thankfully, they got liberated before construction finished. But can you imagine if they ended up like finishing the bridge and they went to the world government like, all right, everybody, we're done. It took us 700 years and, 100, 200, about 300,000 lives lost over the course of that in order to build this bridge. We had to, kidnap several families from various nations and everything, and we had to waste a lot of money on this, to build up an entire town after town after town as the bridge continues on, but we're finally done! And the world nobles are just like, alright, thanks. Kind of like that scene at the end of Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory when Willy Wonka's in his office, just kind of shoos away Charlie. I said good day! But it wouldn't even be that dramatic. It would just be like maybe the world nobles are going through progress reports and like, oh yeah, that bridge is done. What bridge? The bridge in the east. Gonna have to refresh my memory. 700 years ago, Saint Blibbidablue said to build this bridge. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, are you gonna use the bridge? No, it's out in the east. Who gives a shit? Like who would... So, I like to think what happened was this. 700 years ago, World Noble was visiting the East Blue, right? And maybe he was on the island where the bridge started and he was just like, hey, isn't that island close to here, that other island I want to go to? And he was like, oh, not really. That other island? Oh, yeah, that's like 800 miles away. Oh, we'll build a bridge. What? Build a bridge. 800 miles. Like, yeah. Across open ocean. Yeah. I want the bridge to be built. So next time I come here, I could just take a pleasant carriage ride to that other nation I wanted to visit. Now I have to take a boat, but I want to take a bridge next time. And then that's all it took. It is honestly probably going to be something that stupid. Or probably something even more stupid than that. Probably something that just like maybe two world nobles were getting in an argument about something like how fast they could build a bridge or something. He's like, I think it could take 500 years. Nah, it's going to take them over 1,000 to build the bridge. Hey, you know what? Build the bridge so we can figure out who's right here. And then they're both long dead. They were so dense not realizing that they're both going to be long dead before they even finish the damn thing. It could have been something as stupid as that, probably. I guarantee you it wasn't a good reason. Not like there is a good reason to build a giant bridge that would take hundreds and hundreds of years and force slave labor and everything, and not even in like a high traffic zone. Like that would be one thing if it was in an area where there's like a lot of traffic and maybe like, okay, we can bring a lot of supplies and everything using the bridge. But this is like probably the northernmost section of the East Blue out in pretty much the boondocks where nobody's going, so there's no point in it, right? So yeah, honestly, that's the situation. Like the best way I can look at this is imagine if the world noble, imagine like the One Piece world takes place except with our globe, with the 7 continents, America, Africa, Europe, Asia, all that crap. And let's say the world nobles, they land at Hawaii. And they're like, oh, this is nice. I like Hawaii. Hey, we should go to that, what's that place called? I think it's close to here. New Zealand. Oh, no, St. Charles. New Zealand is like thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean. I mean, we could take a boat there. It's like, oh no, I wanna take a carriage ride. Build a bridge to New Zealand. Sir, we build a bridge from Hawaii to New Zealand. That's not fair. I don't care. Build it. I said so. I'm like, All right, start drafting up plans on how this is gonna work. Now, a few things about the integrity, the structure, the infrastructure of this bridge exactly. So, if you look at it panned out, we obviously don't see the island that it originates from because that's 700 years back. But we see that the bottom of each of the support structures for the bridge, and I'm not an architect, so I don't even know what those things are called, but they're like, pieces of, looks like ice or rock underneath each one. So that would lend me to believe that, like, when they're building this bridge, maybe one thing, the water probably isn't that deep, considering, like, because, in our world, a big problem with building bridges, it's possible if the water is shallow enough. All right, but like there's a bridge I think over the English Channel. Well, no, but they could build one. I think that. Okay, wait, no, stop. I sort of have a geography fail here. I'm not thinking of the English Channel. I'm actually thinking of the Strait of Gibraltar, which is in between. It's like right at the mouth of the Mediterranean Sea. And if a bridge would be built across it, it would effectively connect Africa to Europe, Morocco to Spain specifically. And it is feasible to build a bridge. It just hasn't been built yet. It would take a lot of money. It hasn't been done, but it conceivably could be. So that's what I was thinking of. I'm instead making references to the English Channel, and there actually is a tunnel, the channel that goes underneath the English Channel to, Great Britain and all that, but wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of the Strait of Gibraltar, okay. But anyway, yeah, point is, the water underneath Tequila Wolf is probably shallow enough so they can build a bridge with relative ease. It would still take hundreds of years to get where it's going, but it's not super, super deep water. So, okay, it's feasible to do it, but it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of manual labor in the form of slaves, which is what they use. So when Robin was sent there, they found out rather quickly that she doesn't belong, considering she went from Sabaody to Tequila Wolf and was wearing her summer outfit when she landed there, and so they immediately throw her in shackles, and they explain to her the concept of the bridge and what they've been doing, the bare bones stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this bridge has been being constructed for the last 700 years, and you're going to help build it too. We basically use slave labor from basically lands that do not pay tribute to the world nobles, lands that are not allied with the world government. We know that such islands exist. Now, with like the case with Wano, that's an island that's isolated, but it still has its own economy and everything, and it can go strong without the world government. It doesn't need the world government to exist, as Orochi stated so splendidly to the Aegis Zero. It's like, we don't need you. We can do our own thing. Most other islands that cannot pay the tribute and are therefore not part of the world government, they're basically just like free game for pirates and everything and just fall into ruin. And also, you'd figure when the world government ever needs slaves to work on a project like this, they would probably go to those islands first, because the rest of the civilians in the world don't know about it. It's like, oh yeah, they're just like lawless lands that aren't part of the world government. The world government could go to any of those islands and be like, okay, guys, we need some people to build a bridge. Pluck, pluck, pluck. Okay, let's take 100 families, and then they'll, reproduce over the generations. And that's what they did. So they set up shop, and they started building this bridge. And every so often, every few generations or so, when the bridge gets long enough, they have to move the settlement. So let's say the bridge is here, it starts here, and they build like their work camp with all the different housing units and the mess hall and everything, and the guard towers and everything. Well, it's going to take a while, probably several decades, several centuries probably, but eventually that bridge is going to get so long that having a work camp over here is not going to be very practical. It'll take people like all day marching down just to start work, and by that time the sun's coming down. So they have to constantly move their work camps every century or so, I would assume. And as Robin was being liberated from Tequila Wolf and the Revolutionaries, where they had these like really happy snow rhinos that were carrying the carriage, but they were towing her down the bridge because they were going all the way to the end, and it took a long time to get there. Apparently, it takes days to go from the construction site to the very end of the bridge. It takes days to get to that point, so you can just imagine the hard labor that went into this. So they're traveling, and they notice like there's all these dilapidated like buildings and ghost towns along the way. Those are the previous encampments. Those are basically, this is watching a timeline in progress. You're just going further back in time, and you're seeing the construction from 500 years ago, 400 years ago. This one in particular was stated to be 300 years ago, and eventually you'll go all the way back to the ruins of the first settlement. That's insane. I wonder what the people think that the island where the bridge starts. I wonder, I'm assuming that's also probably just a massive work camp camp, honestly, but there's probably some other stuff going on there the world government controls. Like, I wonder what that island is. I would like to know, like, what exactly the two islands are that are supposed to be connected, if they're supposed to be relevant at all. Is the one island maybe the Goa Kingdom? Because that's the only major kingdom we know about in the East Blue, where Luffy grew up, at least on the side, on the edge of the Goa Kingdom in Fuchsia. But of course, you know, that's where Sabo grew up in the Goa Kingdom. Outlook the Third was his father. The king is now King Steady, and everything. So maybe, yeah, maybe a celestial dragon landed at the Goa Kingdom 700 years ago and commanded a bridge be built from the Goa Kingdom to somewhere else. We don't know. It might be clear on the other side of the east. You know, it's just so impractical, but it doesn't matter, really. So that's the case there. Now, in the anime, they extended a little bit in Tequila Wolf. In fact, now that I remember it, there actually is a Willy Wonka reference in the anime, because there's a scene where one of the, you know, workers is bribed with basically a Willy Wonka chocolate bar. That's essentially what it was. But yeah, we get to see Robin meet a little girl named, Soren, who was working there, and she talks about how her family and her, you know, her parents, her grandparents, her great-grandparents, they all lived on this bridge as long as they could remember, and they would just give birth to children, and then those children would grow up, and then they would start working, and then they would have kids, and then they would grow up, and then they would start working, and it's just a combination of that, generations, and a combination of just bringing in constant new workers from various lands, and that's how construction continues. Now, there are guards, of course, to get people to continue working. I'm assuming the guards aren't really a fan of this assignment either. Of course, it's a lot better than being a worker, but also, can you imagine, like, you're working for the world government, and they task you with, like, now you have to be a guard at this, you know, place out in the boondocks, freezing wasteland of the East Blue on a bridge whose construction, like, they don't know. The guards don't know why it's being built. Their superiors probably don't even know why it's being built. So they spend most of the time just chilling out and just getting drunk, hence the name Tequila Wolf, I'm sure. You know, just, there's like, tequila, man, we love this crap, and they just guzzle that all the freaking time, and they get drunk, and they freaking beat and whip the freaking workers to get them to work faster. You know, all the food and everything, all the supplies they get, I'm sure they just hoard for themselves. You know, they have, like, relatively nice places to stay, and, you know, meanwhile the workers are in these little tinfoil shacks, like, huddling for warmth, so not a very pleasant experience. There's also a prison tower, because every now and then, like, a detention facility for, I guess, a worker that is just being very belligerent, or, you know, talking back to the guards or whatever, or maybe just so the guards could get, like, some entertainment because they're stuck there as well. Be like, oh, we need some entertainment for the day. Oh, that worker mouthed off to me earlier. Okay, pull him in the detention tower so to give us something to do today. Probably also involving that. We see some skeletons of some people that were just wasting away. So yo-ho-ho-ho! But no, it's not very yo-ho-ho-ho. This is very depressing, right? Robin gets thrown in there when she first arrives because, you know, they don't put her to work right away because it's like, Nico Robin, the Devil Child, last surviving member of Ohara, ended up here. Okay. And you know what the really messed up thing is? You know, when I first saw Robin in her prison outfit, you know, you notice her cleavage immediately, how she just like, oh man, no matter what outfit Robin is wearing, she's always revealing the cleavage. That was probably not Robin's choice. She's in a prison camp with a bunch of belligerent drunk guards. Yeah, that just got really dark. So, yeah, that was the situation. But luckily everything's good now. The Revolutionary Army seeped in. They managed to liberate everybody, freed everyone, took out the guards. There wasn't like anybody like of any sort of power level was, you know, in charge there. It's not like, you know, Brutus comes out and he's like, I'm Brutus. I'm the boss of this here bridge. And he has like a giant club and like armament hockey. Nobody like that. Just a bunch of drunk guards, essentially. So the Revolutionaries take those out, no problem. Robin does a few snip-snaps, cracks, backs, and then everything's good to go. And so they all get freed. I'm sure the Revolutionaries will take care of them and relocate them. The messed up thing is, like, where do they go? Because it's like this bridge is, like, they're going to have some recovery from this, like, some serious PTSD, because it's, like, literally... like, their families have been building this bridge for hundreds of years. I'm sure there's probably some of them that have been there for so long, and through the generations, they probably just feel like, that's my one task, is to see this bridge completed. We need to see this bridge completed for my father, and my grandfather, and my great-grandfather, and my great-great-grandfather, and my great-great-grandfather. Okay, you're free now. Huh? you're free now. You can go. We'll take you somewhere other island. We'll get you all set up at the shelter or whatever until we'll find a place for you to stay. Does that mean the bridge is... No, we don't have to work on the bridge anymore. Bridge is done. But my family have been wanting for hundreds of years to get this bridge completed so we can finally be free. Yeah, you're already free. Now, listen, I know you might be thinking, like, oh, they're free, awesome. But seriously, think about psychologically what that would do to you from being there. You're like, that's the only thing you know your entire life. Obviously, you would definitely want to get away from the back-breaking labor and the abuse. But for the rest of their lives, each and every one of those workers, those slaves that were liberated, each and every one of them is probably going to have dreams and, like, nightmares at night, you know, about that damn bridge. And it's probably going to stick with them for the rest of their lives, like, where was that bridge going? Why were we building it? We have to know! You know, like, at least, I mean, it's an easy way to figure out, honestly. I mean, if all you have to do is take a map, and I don't know if maps were available in Tequila Wolf, I don't know if they let the prisoners have them or what, just take a map and figure out the route of the bridge and how long it is and everything, and just draw a line, you know, to see where it went, unless it curved at all, but I'm assuming they probably didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep it as straight as possible from what we see in the anime. So it's like, just draw a straight line. The kicker, wouldn't it be hilarious? Not hilarious, it would be kind of like a dark humor kind of thing if there was no other island. There wasn't one. Like, it just keeps extending until it reaches just the sheer rock cliff of the red line, and there's nothing at that point. You know, it's just like the red line's not an island. You can't dock there. It would literally just be going and going and going until you hit a wall. Like, there's no other island on the path of that bridge for hundreds of miles in any direction. It would just be the red line. That would, at that point, I probably would not want to tell them. You know, just like, yeah, your lives were completely meaningless for the will of a celestial dragon that has long been lost. The celestial dragon is long deceased. Everyone that started the bridge, who probably had maybe even the semblance of any idea of where it was going, they're all deceased. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's some messed up crap there. But anyway, yeah, Tequila Wolf. Not really an island, but a standing monument, really, to just how messed up the world government is and how their will is, like, just absolute. That's the best way to take away from Tequila Wolf. Like, the Tequila Wolf is the world government's will made manifest. Doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. If a world noble came out and said, you know, I want you guys to build me a giant tower that stretches into space. All right, we'll get on that. You know, like, it's going to take a while and people keep falling off. Yep, that's how it goes. Or, you know what? I want you to build me, I was going to say an island made of nothing but marshmallows, but that's Totland. That kind of already does exist. But just something so ridiculous. Like, I don't know, I want you to build me a staircase that leads to the other side of the world. Okay? You know, like, something so ridiculous. Couldn't really happen, but we'll do it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're someplace warm on this cold, bitter winter's night. Actually, it was really warm yesterday. It was like in the high 60s yesterday. I was going out for a walk on a t-shirt. Now it's like going back down to the 30s again. So yeah. Yeah, that's good, clear air. Yeah, that's some really refreshing air there. All right, well, you guys have a good one. Tekking101 signing out. Ugh, freaking bridges. Oh, wait. I just thought of another idea. What if the bridge just went around in a giant circle? That's another possibility. Although, if it went around in a giant circle and it's as long as it is, I'm sure probably Luffy and the crew would have bumped into it or at least heard of it at one point, you know? But it's possible. It's possible. Where's the bridge going? Comment below. I need to know. For the families of all of those that died, we need to know where the damn bridge was going.